People have been fighting for 40 years against Moroccan and Mauritanian invasion. But prior to that, the Frente Polisario started struggle against Spain. Spain was refusing, like Portugal, the self-determination for the Portuguese and the Spanish colony in Africa. At the same time, when Morocco invaded Western Sahara in 1975, 31 of October, Indonesia invaded the same month and the same days Timor-Leste. The Polisario Front started the struggle against Spain when the Spanish government, that time was Franco, was a military dictatorship, refused to allow the Sahrawi and Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, to exercise the right for self-determination. After a pacifical demonstration and the pacifical move in Western Sahara, asking Spain to give independence to the Sahrawi people, that movement was led by a pacifical leaders who decide, because of the negative of Spanish response in 1973, to decide to go to a liberation struggle. Well, 40 years was very difficult for the Sahrawi people. Destruction, using of cluster bomb unit, and a lot of many different weapons and arms against civilians. Half of the Sahrawi are in refugee camps. A wall who divides Western Sahara into two. People is divided. Repression, gross violation of human rights, including crime against humanity and crime of war. A tribunal of Spanish in Madrid, one of the tribunales, Audiencia Nacional, Spain, decided that Spain has committed genocide. Morocco has committed genocide in Western Sahara. And no peace for today in Western Sahara.
Thank you. I mean, it's an extraordinary situation, and one of the things that I find frustrating, having worked on this issue for many years, is the way that people talk about it, following a maxim that I've always believed, which is whoever frames a dispute or frames an issue decides that issue. And this issue has long been framed at the United Nations and elsewhere as a dispute between two parties, as if they're two equal parties, when in fact it's not a dispute, it's an occupation of one people's country by another. Another way of describing it is that the territory of the Western Sahara is in fact Africa's last colony. So we are looking at a decolonization process, or what should be a decolonization process. The Western Sahara has never been free of colonial rule. This is one reason that this issue is dealt with at the 4th Committee of the United Nations, the Decolonization Committee. Foreign Minister, if you'd say a little bit about that, how the Western Sahara is Africa's last colony, and how that means it should be dealt with.
Well, there's I think the majority of you here present, they know that Western Sahara is a case of decolonization. It's a case of a colonial matter. The International Court of Justice, in the opinion published on the 16th of October 1975, said that Western Sahara was not part of Morocco prior to the Spanish colonization in 1884. So this is a case of decolonization. United Nations General Assembly has been discussing the matter of decolonization of Western Sahara since 1963. And it's a clear case of decolonization there. So the question of Western Sahara is the last colony, the case of Western Sahara is the last colony in Africa. And in Africa, we have one of the principles of the founding the OAU and the African Union is the respect for the colonial border inherited from the colonial era. So the Moroccan government is not respecting that border of Western Sahara, and the irony, I can say, is that it was France and Spain who make the border of Western Sahara with Morocco, with Algeria, and with Mauritania. And unfortunately, the two countries today, France as a permanent member of the Security Council and Spain as still the administrative power in Western Sahara, according to international law, are not doing nothing. And even they are in some complicity with Morocco to don't fulfill what he signed with the Polisario under the auspices of United Nations and the OU in 1991. So it's a question of decolonization. Security Council is not doing much for the implementation of what have been agreed upon by the two parties of the conflict. Saharawi Republic is a founding member of the African Union and have relations with more than 84 countries in the world. But those who have been controlling or who have been, I can say, deciding in the Security Council on the issue of Western Sahara, mainly the permanent members, some of the permanent members have not been helping this process to go forward and to have an end like what have been scheduled, and they are preventing in that situation, they are preventing the MINURSO to fulfill its mandate until now.
MINURSO is the UN mission for the referendum in the Western Sahara, a mission that was set up to hold the referendum that was agreed by Morocco and the Frente Polisario as the basis of the ceasefire that came into place that ended the war between the Frente Polisario and the Moroccan occupiers in 1991. A referendum that has never taken place, and a mission that has been in existence since 1991 and that has never done what it was set up to do. Just a little bit of history. Before we go into the current diplomatic situation, which I want to talk about in some detail, Minister, I want to take you back a little bit into history because this is a very unknown issue. Most people have little idea, particularly in this country, about what has happened in the Western Sahara. And perhaps if I can ask you to put this in personal terms, your family, you were living in the Western Sahara during the Spanish colonial period. What happened to you when Morocco invaded?
Well, my family was divided in between Western Sahara, the occupied territory, the liberated area. I have 3 sisters in the occupied territory now, 2 brothers in the refugee camps, and 1 sister in the liberated area.